Hi everyone, Aaron here for Zollotech, and this is my Galaxy S8 Plus. I've been using this almost every single day since it came out over 2 months ago, and thought I'd give you an update and share my thoughts on it. Now, the first thing has to do with the design, and the design is probably my favorite phone out there right now, at least the way it feels in your hand. These curved sides, the curved back, the way it just fits in your hand is much nicer than my iPhone, and I've been using it with a case. I've been using it with a Tech 21 case. I'll link it in the description below, but I've just been using it because it's slippery and because it's glass front and back, which looks great and actually feels great. I'm just too afraid to break it, so I tend to use this case with it. I prefer not to use a case because it just feels so much better. Plus, I often have two phones in my pocket at the same time, this and an iPhone 7 Plus, and I can't have them clanging together as they'll either shatter each other or scratch each other's screens or the back. That said, the back does have a few really light scratches on it for when I used it without a case, and the front I can't really find any on, but it seems to be holding up okay. It seems to be fairly durable. I have dropped it on carpet, but with this case on. Other than that, though, it's never been dropped or anything like that. It seems to be holding up quite well. Even when I wasn't using it with a case, there's no wear or anything like I have on my iPhone, if you've seen that. But there is a little scratch right there in the corner. I don't know if you can see that, but it is there. And that's the main scratch, is where you set it down on these corners. Now, I wanted to talk a little bit about the use of it, the battery, the placement of things like this design. I actually have no problem with this place of the fingerprint sensor. My finger kind of naturally fits there just because of the size of my hands. I know that's not going to be ideal for everyone, and with a case on, it makes it even easier because you just bump it up against this corner and you're good to go. But it works really well, and I have no complaints. It works as well as an iPhone or any other phone that I've used that's modern. The fingerprint sensor just works well. Now, as for the battery has been pretty good, and I have a different sort of use case. When I'm driving somewhere, it's plugged in, and I'm usually using Android Auto. If I'm at a desk, I usually set this on the wireless charging pad. So I really don't think too much about battery. I've been using it today. I'm at 52%. I didn't use it when I was on my way home today, and I got, I don't know, about an hour and a half of usage out of it on the display as far as screen on time. If I go back down to, I can never remember where they put it on this UI, and that's one thing I don't like about it, is I don't care for TouchWiz. That's why I'm not using it. So if I go into battery, go here, battery usage, screen, 1 hour, 12 minutes at this particular time. It is fairly bright here during the day. I'm in the Carolinas. And if I'm outside, the screen stays on bright. It's on auto brightness, though, and I have everything set as default. I know there's ways to tweak it and get better battery life, but I easily get through a day the way I use it. And usually by the time I get home, because it charges so fast, it's fully charged anyway from my car, just charging it through my stereo. Now, unlocking it, other than this, you've got the iris scanner, and they both work great. If I have it sitting on a desk or in that dock, I have the angled fast charging dock. I normally just look at it, it unlocks, it works well, and I have no issues there. When I use the phone, I'm normally checking email. I don't really play games on it. I'm doing social media, watching YouTube, something like that. And a lot of the time I'm using the split view feature. If I just do this, or multitasking, we'll just use settings since it has that option. But normally I'll have it with YouTube here, Twitter here, sitting in the charger this way. And because this has a headphone jack and my iPhone doesn't, I tend to use this. Even though I have AirPods, I just prefer the headphone jack. It's just something I appreciate. So when I'm using it, I'll do that normally. I can check my feed. I've got both things running. It's really a great way to use a phone, and the screen's big enough that it makes it really nice. The next thing is I haven't had any real freezing on this. I can think very little of any time this is frozen. Maybe it's frozen a little bit when using Gear VR. Other than that, it doesn't really crash. It hasn't had any issues. It's had, I think, 3 updates now. That this is the T-Mobile version. I think there were 3 different updates, and I don't really use widgets. I haven't used any that I really like, but this is kind of how I use it. I use the Google Now setup here. I prefer Google Now over TouchWiz. Just, I don't care for the way TouchWiz works. I like the smaller folders where I can just tap and they pop open here instead of popping up over here. I find it very efficient to use it this way, and I really like the way this works. I've been using it for a lot of phone calls, and it's very, very clear. Everyone can hear me, I can hear them, and it just stays clear all the time. And the reception is great, much better than my iPhone, quite honestly. The speakers sound good, but that's my one complaint, is it only has one speaker. I wish it had two, but it doesn't. As for problems, I really haven't had any. I have no problems except for in Android Auto, where occasionally it does some screwy things and doesn't work, and that's particularly in Waze. It's a new version. Sometimes the screen blacks out, or it can't play a song and I have to start it over again. Other than that, I really have nothing I can complain about. And if you'd like to see Waze on Android Auto, let me know and I'll do a video about Android Auto and Waze. Other than that, though, apps work great. Everything's working well for me. I've had no issues. Samsung Pay even works well. Android Pay. I've played with all of those different things, and I can say really nothing negative other than the speaker issue that I mentioned before. It's a great device, a little pricey, but a great device. And unless you're looking for a Note, which should be coming out pretty soon, this is the phone I would recommend if you're getting Android and you don't swear by maybe stock Android, or maybe wait till the Pixel 2 comes out. But if you find one of these at a discount or with a good deal, this is the phone to get, and I don't think you'll be disappointed with it, at least for another year or two. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe and like. As always, thanks for watching. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.